Hey guys, how are you doing? I hope you're doing good. Yeah, this video is gonna be a bit different, mainly because, as you might notice, I'm going without a script here. I don't know how good my scripts are regularly, but in this case, I wanted to go off script, just for the simple reason that I still have these thoughts fresh in my mind, and I don't want to lose them. So this video right now, it's gonna be me speaking about the Welcome to Derry, the last two episodes, and the things that I found for them to actually drop a bit the show. And let me just be clear, I'm gonna be completely honest here. I'm not saying that Welcome to Derry it's a bad show. It's actually a really, really good show from the first episode. It got me hooked from the first moment, and I really, really do recommend it to pretty much everyone that wants to watch that show, either with your partner, by yourself, with your family, if your family can withstand gore. But yeah, it's a cool show. But the thing here is that the last two episodes of the first season, or chapter one, as you would like to call it, they dropped the ball for me in a lot of aspects, and I'm going to explain why in a few moments. I have actually my bullet points here just so that I can remember. Okay, so where we left in what I believe was episode 6, the kids were at the Black Spot, if that was the name that it was called. You know, this cabin that Halloran and his friends in the army got, and they were hiding Robbie's dad, right? So the thing is that we left off there. Some masked dudes came in, and well, obviously with no good intentions, but they wanted to take out Robbie's dad. So the thing here is that the episode 7 starts. So these guys barge in, discussion starts, and they set the place on fire, right? Okay, but the problem here is the lack of logic between a lot of the decisions. And I'm not gonna focus right now on the burning cabin. I'm gonna come back to it in a moment. You see, all these things are made so that it comes, that it appears and eats, right? It feeds. And sometimes I might refer to it as Pennywise because that's how a lot of people know the creature, not through the it name. But yeah. So it's all done because they want to bring Pennywise or it or however you want to call it, to a certain spot and feed. This is done by the daughter of the original Pennywise, the original clown who disappeared mysteriously like 30 years ago, and not much was found from him, and everyone assumed him dead. But his daughter, whose name I can't remember, I just remember that she wanted to take the mantle that the mom had, Periwinkle, so she wants to take that mantle. The thing is that there's a certain lack of logic, and since I'm talking about the daughter now, I want to focus on her. And look, I liked the story of the traumatized daughter, you know? I liked this story where she wanted to bring his dad back no matter what, alright? And she already seen Pennywise like once or twice in the same moment, and she knows what Pennywise or it is capable of, right? So we're gonna go with the idea that she's like extremely needy and traumatized, you know, mental health issues and all that. But what happens then is that after everything happens in the Black Spot, you know, the killing and the burning of the cabin and Pennywise feeding of the people that are there, and she sees Pennywise, Periwinkle sees Pennywise, and you're seeing that creature eat something. Well, eat someone, actually. I think it was her husband. So you're seeing a figure that resembles your dad in his clown costume eating the insides of the head of your husband, and you're still like, Daddy! But once you see his look, once you see him into his eyes, you're like, oh, you're not my daddy. Who are you? What are you? I'm scared.
You're not him. Who are you?
Like, weren't you scared when you pretty much took this kid to the basement, I guess it was, like, of the asylum? Didn't you notice something wrong there? I mean, I would have preferred a million times that the character of Periwinkle, sorry, I can't remember the name of the daughter, that she would have stayed crazy. Like, Pennywise being like, oh, I have to feed, I have to sleep, I already feed, I need to sleep. And she's like, no, Daddy, take me with you. And then, it hypnotizing her. I mean, instead of, oh, who are you? I'm scared. Okay, that can be kind of forgiven, because it can be like a moment of, like, not being crazy, not being insane. I'm sorry, I don't know the term for cuerdo. Cuerdo means not insane. Have her know by Pennywise, by it, that in order for him to appear, he must have certain conditions like misery, pain, anger, hurt, and obviously scared little kids. That would have been perfect. I mean, she pretty much orchestrated all the things that happened. From sleeping with Ronnie's dad, which it was extremely frowned upon. I mean, even Ronnie's dad said so, like, I mean, I'm gonna get hung from a tree, but what's her husband gonna do with her once he finds out? But okay. But the other thing that I found extremely illogical in that episode is the general. Look, I was very intrigued by the idea of the army actually knowing about a creature that landed in our planet a long time ago, that it's from outer space, that has psychic abilities, and it's extremely dangerous, right? And so I kind of understand that the part of we must capture it. Obviously, we know, first of all, this is a prequel. We already know they didn't capture it. They couldn't do it, but I wanted to see how they failed, right? But their plan sounded appropriate. Not logical, not very intelligent, honestly, but appropriate. Something that a military character always tries to do. Secure things as weapons, because they're soldiers. That's what they do. They fight. They have to think about war constantly. So it's kind of understood that, the general was going to do something like that. I didn't thought he wanted to exterminate it in the beginning, but I was actually really intrigued by that and what they were planning to do. Okay, first inconsistency. He wants to set it free. Look, that thing took out a small firing group of well-trained soldiers where only 2 or 3 members survived. So you're gonna tell me that you plan on, first of all, you haven't had a real close encounter where you have multiple survivors that know how to fight this thing, and you're planning on setting it free. Why? What's your logic behind all of this, I must ask? I mean, your soldiers meant shit to it. They were just food for it. They were nothing actually worthy of trying to fight it, alright? They were just cannon fodder. That's all they were. They were just a fucking meal for it. So, you have no experience on how to fight this. You don't have any experience on how to actually control it. You have the stories of the Native Americans, but yet you don't follow that. You don't use that. Not to your favor, at least, and the only attempt that you had at it, everybody fucked up, From losing Halloran, everyone splitting up, and dying. So, yeah, that's very clever, Mr. General. Very fucking clever of you. So, now, why does he want to free it? Well, I thought maybe he wants to set a trap for it. Yeah, he wants to set a trap for it. He's gonna try to do, a fucking ultimatum, for the for the operation overall. Like, we're gonna take it by force, but we have to funnel it to a specific place, right? No. You know why he wants to free it? Because there are feminists and black people getting rights and college kids getting angry and there's revolts and social discomfort, and he says, if I want my good America to still be my good America, I must induce them some fear here. If they're not afraid, they're gonna do whatever they want, and God forbid I have some gays and women in high places now. Well, he actually didn't say that, but he actually did mention the feminists. Okay, so yeah, you have to be afraid of feminism. Whoa. So much so that you have to release a cosmic entity on the whole fucking planet.
What's happening out there, Leroy? Americans are at each other's throats, and it's only getting worse. Anti-new crazies, the women's movement, race riots. This country is slowly fracturing into 1,000 jagged, ill-fitting pieces.
My God. I mean, when saying it out loud, it just sounds so outlandish. Really. So fucking outlandish. Now, wouldn't you think that in order to actually do something, because, I mean, I'm not in the military. I've never been in the military. I know a few people who have, but something I've got to understand from people that has been in the military is that their main job, it's mostly reconnaissance. It's mostly gathering information. You know, you have to understand what you're facing against. The terrain, the weather, the conditions, everything. So this guy only sends a handful of men to die in the sewers, and then he's like, well, yep, we're ready to release this thing into the world. So, yeah, it's extremely stupid. They melt the dagger. Well, no, it's not the dagger. It's a fragment of the asteroid, if I recall correctly. And, yeah, that's very stupid from the general. Now, the next episode, the stupidity of the general doesn't stop here. Of course, there will be spoilers in this, so advised. I mean, I think I should have said this in the beginning. But I don't know, I'll put a disclaimer here, like there in the beginning, like, hey, spoilers, don't watch this video if you don't want to get spoiled of what happens in the last few episodes. The last 2 episodes. So, okay, in the end, they free Pennywise, technically. Pennywise, well, it is reaching, like, a certain point where it will be impossible to get Cage if he crosses a certain threshold, right? It's a dead tree at the end of a river. The soldiers arrive, right, and Pennywise, it's, like, stuck for a moment, and I'll explain why. He gets stuck for a moment, like, about to eat Marge. And what happens here is that the general sees it, gets close to it alone. Let me remind you, completely alone. The dude is only himself standing in front of a frozen Pennywise, like mid-transformation to eat something, and he starts to give his speech of, I always wondered what you really were, if you were just a nightmare, or whatever, or a monster, but I see you're both. And then Pennywise pretty much unfreezes, and it's like, whoa, what the fuck? And the guy's like, oh, yeah, you must obey me, now go. And obviously that thing is not going to obey you, a fucking dying old man. I mean, he only did you a favor by taking you out. You were gonna die of, I don't know, a heart attack or cancer in the next 5 years. So, he did you a favor. But that's the problem. The character was stupid. You wanted to give me a human villain? Okay. I get it. Cool. But give it good motivations. Like, for example, it is mentioned in the beginning that they want to use this thing as a weapon against the Russians in case things go south, right? Because they're in the middle of the Cold War, which is a good setting for that. So this guy could have gone with that narrative, actually, and the idea of setting it free could have been like, hey, so we're gonna give that thing a chance to get out through this funnel, alright? And through this funnel, we're gonna have to capture it. We only have one shot at this. Okay? One shot. And obviously it has to go wrong, and that's where the kids save the day, right? But it's not like that. It's like, oh, I want to control it because feminists and black people and Mexicans and all that shit. And that sucks. I mean, it's an illogical narrative. And my problem right now with these last two episodes, which again, let me reiterate, I'm not saying that this show is bad. It's really good. It hooked me from the beginning. But the last two episodes lacked any logic. They were void of any possible logic. And look, I know you can say, man, it's a show about a clown that eats kids, broadly speaking. And you're right. But once on a writing comics course that I took, there was one point that one of the topics was, what do I write about? And basically the instructor said, write anything you want. It doesn't have to be logical, but it has to have its logic. For example, in Harry Potter, the pictures in the newspapers move, the paintings are alive, all that stuff, right? But let's say that into a certain point of the story, you hear about this wand that literally no one can touch because it's extremely cursed, and the moment you touch it, you die, right? You dead, like that, dead, on the ground. Like, you just drop, dead, nothing more. But let's say that an ex machina happens, and Ron Weasley takes the wand, and it seems that Ron Weasley is actually a descendant of a legendary figure that every 10,000 generations gives the power to one of his redhead descendants to carry the wand. Like, that's illogical because it was never stated, alright? It's illogical. Here, we have a character that it's supposed to be a very smart individual, or at least smart enough to understand what's going on and how to work in order to become a general, right? At least that's the idea, okay? That's why Leroy is a major, it's other thing, a major, because he has done things, he has the skills and the knowledge to be in that rank, right? Okay, so that was pretty much the general. It's a dumb excuse of a villain. I think they could have done way better with the cop, the sheriff, I guess he was, well, or captain or whatever, a cop, right? That would have been way better. But yeah, they wanted to give us a bad guy in a position of power. I don't have a problem with that, but make him good. I mean, or if you're not gonna make him three-dimensional, at least make him bidimensional from the beginning. Make him stupid from the beginning. Make him like that from the beginning. But don't give me this idea that, oh, right now he's stupid. He's suddenly extremely stupid. Like, why? Okay, now, coming back to the second to last episode, which I think it's episode 7, I want to be clear on something. I don't mind the death of Richie. I think it's appropriate. But I think it was just too benevolent. Look, the first episode pretty much set a boundary, or got rid of any boundary. Everybody knows that usually on movies and TV shows, kids don't die. Or rarely they do. Of course, Stephen King, it's pretty much famous, well, not famous for that, he's famous for other things, but it's very common in his books for kids to actually die. Cujo, the Long Walk, obviously It, and what's this one called? Maximum Overdrive, where machines go haywire and cars attack people. Like, there's a scene where Bulldozer, I think it's called, mows through a team of baseball players. So, okay. And in this case, actually, I really... When I saw the first It movie from where Bill Skarsgård is it, I really like the concept that we're not gonna hold back. All right, we're not holding back. We're not going to censor anything. Like in the original, which it's a miniseries, it's not a movie, but it was kind of adapted to a movie. The character of Georgie, his death is censored. I mean, it's just a close-up to Pennywise by Curry. This Curry guy, I forgot his name. Sorry, don't kill me for that. But yeah, there's a close-up, you know, and then it cuts to I guess the funeral. I don't know. It's been so long since I watched it, so I clearly don't remember. But that's pretty much censored, which I don't hate. But obviously, when they were pulling no punches, I said, okay, now we're going into what the true vision of Stephen King's horror is going to be brought to light in this film, right? And when my wife told me about this show, I was like, oh, okay, so we're going with it. Let's see how it goes. I mean, I really love the long walk now on movie. Well, when it was on movies, I went to the theater and watched it, and I loved it. And I said, okay, so let's watch it. And in the first episode, the first fucking episode, it holds no punches. I mean, we see 1, 2, 3, 4 kids. 4 kids die. Alright? It's not explicit. Alright? It's not like you see every bit of action, but it's pretty gory. Now, I'm not a gore fan. I like gore when gore it's part or important to the story. Like, say, Dead Space. In Dead Space, gore is important. I do consider it to be important because, well, it's part of the horror. You know, this cosmic entity that turns people into monsters that only want to kill people. And that includes you. And you, to survive, your best option is to shoot the limbs, right? So it makes sense. But for example, in something like House of Belize, I mean, it's just torture porn. I don't like that. But there's like a fine line where it's okay for the story to have that, or the media to have it. And in here, it was no different. It is a cosmic entity that preys on humans. And that thing prefers to prey on little kids. Why? Because little kids are easier to scare, and for it, fear is the best condiment. Imagine trying to eat something that tastes bad. Of course you're going to try to avoid it, but what if you could add a condiment that makes it so damn good? Well, of course you were going to go with that, right? So of course you were going to choose that. So that's why it eats kids, and that's why it taunts them a lot. You know, that's why he's teasing them constantly. But by the 7th episode, and I'm sorry I went in a big tangent here, but I wanted to make my point come across. We have Richie's death. Sorry, spoilers again. His death was heroic, so to speak. He saves Marge by hiding her in a box. I don't know how it's called. It's in Spanish it's hielera, where you put ice for the drinks, and she fits in. And he lays on top of the lid so that Marge can't get out, right? So that she's safe. Yeah, it's a very touching moment, all that. And I won't say that I was expecting to get Richie pulled off limb from limb to limb. But once the thing is over and you find the body, I mean, it seems like the guy only did a barbecue. I mean, he's not even burned. He's complete. I mean, every limb on its place. He's just like, if he had played with coal a bit, like if he would have get stained with coal. And not much. I mean, it's not a big complaint because honestly, I really like Richie. But I'm not gonna lie here. It felt kind of off. The first episode has the death of who we thought are going to be the main cast. But no, they're just cannon fodder. From the first kid to the other 3 kids, including one of them, it's a little girl. Now, later on, I think it's episode 5 or 4, I don't remember, it comes to the new/old losers group. You know, Richie, Will, Lily, Marge, Ronnie. And he tells them like, oh, he hunts at night, so we must get them, whatever. They must get there for a reason, right? But it's actually it disguised as Matthew, I think it was called, the little kid was called. Yeah. So in a point they reach a part of the sewers where they find the bodies of the 4 dead children. And that's a very gory and ghoulish imagery. Right? Which, again, cool because it's part of the story. And also, while they're in the hideout at their club, it, as Matthew, explains to them how every kid died. He explains in vivid and gory detail, like how this kid died. I mean, he died at the cinema. This kid died, he ate him. The little girl, she bled out, I mean, while crying. It's a horrible scenery, but it's appropriate for the setting. But Richie, it's, hey, yeah, let's just put a little dirt on him. That's it. But yeah, that's something that's really, really weird. The next thing. Episode 8, the last episode, we have this moment where we have Halloran and Taniel running towards the tree to put the dagger in the ground so that we can avoid it from escaping, you know, keeping it in a cell. But here's the big thing about that. Here's the big ass thing about that. They get shot. Taniel gets shot in the neck, and Leroy, I don't remember if it was on the leg or on the hip, but the point is, they're both out. And when they see this happen, the rest of our main cast, they get out of the car and try to run to aid them, but they are shot at by the army man that shot Taniel and Leroy. It's the general and his crew trying to, well, avoid this from happening. You know, from them to actually stop their plans of liberating it on the world. And so they get shot and they run back to the car. And magically, Will and friends arrive at the place where Leroy is fallen and bleeding and everything. And suddenly now the army men don't have the sight to see them. I mean, I know it's foggy, I know that there's fog all around you, but you can't have like a hawk vision one moment when it's convenient to the plot and then having the sight of a turtle with astigmatism. I'm sorry, you just fucking can't do that. You just can't. I hate plot armor, that's what I'm saying. I hate plot armor when it's used improperly. One cool way to use it, you know, a very cool character like Luffy, you know? I mean, I haven't watched a lot of One Piece, so please don't shit on me on the comments. But the point here is that one moment, these guys have perfect aim, perfect sight. They can see everyone over there, right? But they magically can't see Will and his friends arrive where Leroy is laying down with the dagger. And they also have like a lot of fucking time for them to speak like, I can't do it, Dad. No, you can do it, son. I believe in you. But Dad, I'm scared. I'm not like you. You don't have to be me. You can be you. You're perfect as you are. I love you, Dad. I love you, son. It's an emotive moment, but it's devoid of logic. The emotional moment gets taken away by the fact that, well, they're not being shot at, you know? There's no bullets flying around. If it would have been a moment in a conflict, it would have been touching. But here's like the, uh-oh, hurry up, or things are gonna go wrong, hurry up, you know, the bad army men are coming, oh shit, hurry up, speak less. But no, it's just like that. Now, after that, they magically can't see Will running and his friends running with a fucking glow stick the size of a baby, which is a dagger. I mean, it's just so dumb. So dumb, really. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, which it's segued right now within the glow stick thing, is in this last episode, the dagger pretty much becomes the One Ring. You know, the one from Sauron, from the Lord of the Rings. I mean, it corrupts you. It wants to return to its place with its master. Well, I don't know if it is its master, but it wants to go home. It wants to go back to the sewers or Mordor. It's the same. And it corrupts the people that carry it. You know? And I know. The ring wants to go back to its master, and Mount Doom, it's in Mordor. But the fact that it's suddenly like, the dagger, it's alive, the dagger has thoughts, the dagger can do things to your monkey brain? Well, that would have been nice to know. I mean, I'm not against the idea of that happening, like, it's cosmic horror at the end. But there were generation after generation of Native Americans that held the dagger, you know, for whenever it was needed. Actually, we see Taniel carrying said dagger to the sewers. And Taniel pretty much loses the dagger, and he's like, oh, shoot, I lost the dagger, or whatever. Instead of like Lily like, oh, my precious. I mean, we see Lily being like, no, I need to carry the dagger. And it's like, what the fuck, dude? I mean, when does this become the Lord of the Rings? Seriously? And I swear, for a moment, Will wanted to do the Frodo Baggins himself. I mean, he was like, just like a step from the tree, and he's like, no, I can't do it. Turns around and runs away. I mean, the only thing that was missing for it to be the Lord of the Rings is that if he went invisible and someone bit his finger off, you know? I mean, it's just so silly. It just becomes so silly. It just is. The fact that it becomes pretty much a Lord of the Rings moment there. Now, episode 8 also has one of the moments that I mostly despise. Look, pretty much since the beginning, well, not since the beginning, but the moment some of the characters were introduced to Welcome to Derry, there was a theory that Marge was Maggie, which is Maggie Tozier, which is Richie Tozier's mom. Richie Tozier is one of the members of the original Losers Club from the original source material. Either you want it to be the books or the movies. And I'm okay with fan theories. I mean, sometimes they can be fun. Sometimes they can ruin the fun. And look, I have a great problem, a big problem with prequels. You know, rarely is the prequel that I actually like. And that is one simple thing: the lack of danger. Look, if I would have known from the beginning that Marge is the mom of Richie, I know that she will be alive. It doesn't matter how much you put her into any dangerous situation, she's gonna be fine. Nothing's gonna happen to her. She's gonna be okay. She's gonna survive. I know that she has to have a kid, and she's not pregnant at the moment, and God forbid I said those words, because the character is supposed to be like a really minor, but that's the point. She's not going through any danger, and she's not going to be in any danger really. Whatever happens to her, it's gonna be inconsequential. Nothing's gonna alter her story. I already know the outcome. I already know that these kids have to win in order for it to not escape. I know that it doesn't escape. Alright? But it doesn't have to escape, really, for it to actually be a good story, or a bad story, a bad ending. But it ruins the fun for me. You know, like Better Call Saul, I liked it because it's a prequel and sort of a sequel. But there were moments like, I knew that Saul wasn't gonna die on the desert with Mike. I knew that nothing was going to happen to Saul. No matter how much in danger he got, nothing would have happened to him at all. I know that Gustavo Fring, wasn't going to suffer anything. So his confrontation with Lalo Salamanca was going to be void of any real danger. I know that Gus has to survive, because otherwise it would be a time paradox. But that's the problem with prequels, right? That's the problem I have with prequels. So that's the problem. I don't have an issue with Marge being the mom, alright? I don't have that. And I don't have a problem with prequels themselves. A very good prequel for me is Rogue One, It sets in motion the events of the episode 4 of Star Wars. Another one is Halo Reach. You know from the beginning your character is going to die, right? And you could say, well, doesn't that remove any danger? No, because my character is going to die. Now I have to feel that my death accomplishes something, and you literally put in motion the events of Combat Evolved. I mean, another thing would have been that, you're Captain Keyes or Master Chief, and oh no, Captain Keyes is captured by the Covenant. It's like, nothing's gonna happen to the dude. He needs to be alive in order to die in consumed by the Flood. Well, actually, he dies at Chief's hands when he takes the neural implant from him. Alright? Another good prequel for me personally, I know that the fandom doesn't like it, it's The Hobbit. Why? Well, because it's kind of separate from The Lord of the Rings, besides the finding Golden part. I mean, it's a very regular run-to-the-mill fantasy story where we go kill a dragon and learn something cool. So, it's a good prequel. I know that there is no danger with Bilbo, but since the other characters don't appear in The Lord of the Rings, except for Legolas, it's very different. The other characters can die. The other characters can be in real danger. I know Bilbo won't, but Bilbo is rarely in danger, actually, if you think about it. I mean, he's mostly kind of witty in witty situations that I like, honestly. But, okay, I deviated to explain the thing. Now, again, I have no issue with prequels. But the problem for me with the scene where actually Pennywise gets frozen by Halloran, and I'll jump into that in a minute, alright, is that then Pennywise explains to Marge, like, "Ooh, Margie Tozier, I wanted to know how you taste like," It's a good scene, but it's like, why are you calling her Tozier? I mean, that's not her last name yet. I mean, I say yet because I already know the outcome. And even Marge is like, what? What do you mean? And then she's, oh, you're not yet Margie Tozier, but you will be. And your son will be the death of me, and with his loser friends. And even shows her, like, the missing kid poster with Richie's face. And she's like, what the f***? I mean, I was like, oh man, why? You're dropping the ball here. And yes, Pennywise explains, like, oh, Pennywise can see time in different manners. Past, present, and future, they're the same to me. And it's like, okay, you're a cosmic entity who might see time different, like us, we see it. I mean, we see it like a stream. Either, the Western way, where we move along the stream of time, or like an Oriental way, where time flows through you. Alright, but the point is, it's a straight line. So there's a point in the beginning and a point in the ending. So it's interesting. It's an interesting concept. Like, how could a cosmic creature see time? But here's my problem with all the logic from a very, very supposedly intelligent cosmic creature. Number one, if you are aware of your own demise, and you know that you can't change it, why try to change it? You're only wasting your time. It's not like the Rick and Morty episode with the death crystals that Morty jams it in his head so that he can end up with Jessica. Like, oh, if I move in this direction, I get this ending, right? It's not like that. He knows it. He knows that Richie and his friends are going to be the demise of it. Or maybe my birth, he says. And with this I will say, fuck off. I mean, really, are you going with the idea that you're going to be brought again in the mid 21st century again. Come on, dude. I mean, I can appreciate some things, from prequels, but this ain't one of those. I mean, this only makes it look extremely stupid. And the other way around, okay, let's say you can actually change the outcome. Why would you reveal to this kid that she's going to be pretty much the mother of one of the messiahs? Why let her know that she must have a kid, she must marry someone with the last name Tozier, and she must have this kid that it's going to be named Richie? I mean, pretty much it's the butterfly effect here. If you wouldn't have told her that, she could have named the kid Anthony, And just by changing the name, by changing something, or just not going to the first date with Daddy Tozier, things are gonna be different. So it's really stupid from it to actually tell Marge, like, you're gonna do this, and this is going to kill me. Why? Why are you giving such important information to someone that she has clearly stated at the beginning of the episode, or the ending of the previous episode, I don't remember, that she wants you dead. Why are you giving her, reasons on how? Now, I briefly mentioned Halloran stopping Pennywise before eating Marge, and that's another thing I want to speak. I really like the fact of Halloran actually existing in this series. Oh, but what was it about the not danger thing? Look, I like that the inclusion of Halloran actually brought something to the table. Halloran is someone who is given the gift, or the shining as he calls it, right? His grandma had it, he has it, and the kid from The Shining has it. So once he knows about this power, well, he communicates with the kid. And since he knows the history of the Overlook Hotel, well, he wants to keep him safe. So pretty much the Shining is some sort of, internet connection between both of them. So they can instantly message. So it's a both way of communicating, so he can help him. Yeah, I know. He stood a chance against, and that's another thing I'm going to talk about, against a cosmic entity, but he can't deal with a crazy dude with an axe. But I'll talk about it later. Now, the thing is that I really enjoyed it because it's a neat touch, right? It's like the recognition of the whole Stephen King's horror universe. Like, it's not different scenarios, but it's in this same cursed world where all the things happen, like It, The Mist, what's it called? The Tommyknockers, the one that freezes time for certain people and gets stuck in a moment in past, so they must go to the moment in future so that they can come back to their living world. It's cool. It's just a neat touch. It's like the recognition of different topics, of different stories. They don't collide with each other, and I like it to be that way, but I like the idea of recognition that this universe, it's pretty much all centered in one. Now, the power scaling for Halloran. Look, at the beginning of the season, Halloran was pretty much a badass psychic, But again, he never had to face someone who didn't have the Shining or any psychic ability. Not that we know of, at least. I mean, he wasn't aware of the psychic vampires at that point. But, he was in the military, so he has to have some rough training. The thing is that he's used as some sort of mental compass towards it. And the moment he makes touchdown with it, his brain gets screwed badly. I mean, he can see every dead person. If I recall correctly, it's like they died near of that, so he doesn't have to address them in order for them to ignore him. But he is mentally broken up till the end of that episode. Pretty much to the middle of the episode 8. So much so that he tries to attempt to take his own life. Now, the thing here is that, number one, they take him with Rose, I guess she's called, and Rose is like, hey, so drink this maturin root tea, clever reference there, But the thing is that she's like, drink this. Okay, he drinks it. Oh, it's bitter. How long does it take to have any effect on him? Not long. Oh, hey, by the way, I have this very important thing that I must tell you before you go into that. Do not blah, 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 blah. You know, pretty much she becomes Charlie Brown's teacher when she says that, and it's like, how are you alive at this point? I mean, this is a very... There was crucial information you had to tell Halloran before getting all high on your drug tea, but why didn't you tell him sooner? I mean, why did you tell him after he drank the tea that it's going to act very quickly on his system? So, yeah, that's a weird thing. You know, another weird decision from the directing and writing team on this last episode. And so, yeah, going to Halloran. First of all, I didn't like the way how Halloran pretty much handled giving directions to the other adults. You know, it was pretty much like, we're cold, cold, warm, warm. Okay, we're getting warmer, warmer, hot, hot, hot. You're on fire. We're here. The kids are here. I mean, it felt like that. It could have been better. It could have been done way better. Like, hey, I can see the woods. I can see woods. I can see a lot of trees, and I can see a cabin made of stone. With one chimney. Yeah, the old man Robert's chimney. Oh, we must go there. They must be going to the south, to the river. You know, that would have been better. Like, description would have been way better than just, oh, we're getting closer. Like, yeah, what's closer? North, south, east, west? How many miles are we away from the kids? Oh, we're just getting closer. So, that's dumb. That's illogical. Or at least have the guy, like, mouth open, eyes wide open, and just aiming to a certain direction with his finger. That would have been more appropriate instead of just laying down, sweating like, oh, we're getting closer. But where are they? Closer. You know, it's just silly how they handle this, right? It's extremely silly how they handled that situation. Now, as we go on, we have this situation like, oh, in order for us to save the kids, I need you to tap into its mind and play with it, alright? You have to distract it, you know? And it's a cool touch, right? It is a cool touch that I really like here, but it is just extremely weird that, well, Halloran was about to blow his brains out because he was seeing dead people that talk very loud, and he couldn't control them anymore. And the first two times he got in contact with it actually handled Halloran without a problem. Halloran was Pennywise's bitch. He couldn't do anything. He got handled without any effort. I mean, for it was just Tuesday morning. So how come now he has all the power? And I know what you will say. Well, here's two things. First of all, the guy had his psychic powers amplified by the tea that Rose gave him. And second of all, it was distracted with Marge at the moment, so tapping into his brain would have been like a sneak attack. And okay, let's play with that, but again, power imbalance. I mean, I can sneak attack Cthulhu, but what will it do to me? I mean, yeah, sure, I can attempt to stab at the giant thing, but it will just move his ankle backwards and I'm dead. So, no, the fact that it's a sneak attack, that the guy is roided up by a tea, it doesn't fulfill the whole story or the whole thing. Now, the other dumb decision, it's more to the end of the story, where it's the decision of Will's family to stay at Derry. Why would I say that's a stupid decision? I mean, did you forget about the black spot already? Did you not see how extremely racist people in Derry is? How prone to violence they are? And how okay they are with it? I mean, do you really want to have your kid... I mean, yeah, you could say, well, but the cosmic horror clown is no more. You know, we dealt with it. Yeah. But honestly, I mean, that's not gonna stop your kid from getting a bullet to the back. I mean, we knew what happened. We saw what happened. The horrible act from a lot of members of the town to actually murder innocent people. And they didn't mind for one reason, their skin tone. Let's say there were only white dudes on that spot. Let's call it the white spot. They would have either just killed the one dude that they were going for, or they would have left peacefully. Let's face it, they would have. I mean, why does Leroy think it's a good idea to have his kid on the same town that attempted to murder him? Well, not exactly him, but he was going to be collateral damage with a lot of people in this. Why have him there? Why keep him there? That's not safe. Weren't you afraid that, well, he was in danger from it, but now you're extremely okay? So yeah, it's a really stupid decision. I mean, I don't mind the fact that he stays there. If it wasn't for that scene specifically, if it wasn't for that, I would have been like, oh, okay, well, they're staying at Derry, I guess, as protectors, I guess. But it's extremely dumb, you know? And yeah. And my last thoughts here, or I think the last thoughts, instead of, I mean, I don't see anything else on my bullet points here. Hey guys, future Dargeek here while editing. I also remembered something while speaking to a friend, and that was that pretty much the Milkman is a true hero. I mean, just think about it. The guy pretty much became the rat for the Avengers. It was the same equivalence. Like, the guy, if the Milkman didn't die, the girls wouldn't have reached Will in time, and it will have ended poorly for everyone. So, yeah, that's how much the last two episodes, especially the last one, lack of logic. Like, that really became something really odd. I mean, the Milkman pretty much becoming the equivalent of the rat in the Avengers. Like, if he wouldn't have been at that precise place at that precise moment, he wouldn't have been killed. Therefore, the girls wouldn't have made it in time to stop it and actually find Will and avoiding it to get out. But maybe I'm missing something. But here, my thing is, my hopes and fears for the future. When this ended, we're told, well, it appears Welcome to Derry, Chapter 1. My wife told me that this is the first season of at least 2 or 3, right? And the other seasons were going back in time. You know, like we're going like 27, 30 years before the events of this season. Like every time we're going back to a more, air quotes, primitive or old Derry. And it's a cool concept. I really liked it. But here's my main concern. Well, not my main concern. What I think should happen is that in the next season, or the next coming seasons, the good guys shouldn't win. And I think they should fail horribly. Oh, but that's gonna leave a sour taste in my mouth. Look, it's gonna leave a way more sour taste in my mouth if it can be defeated every freaking time by the children of barely evolved apes, which are humans. Think about it. The thing is a cosmic entity. It devours worlds. That is pretty much unbeatable. Sure, it has a relatively physical body. That's why on It, the first movie, it gets beaten, like, gets its ass whooped by kids with pipes. But it's not totally physical. It's also like, well, it's a cosmic entity. It goes beyond all our understanding as human beings. But it kind of has a physical body. But the thing here is that he must win. Well, it must win in order for it to still be scary. We have 2 events where it lost. The movie, where it is supposed to be fully dead, and the Welcome to Derry Chapter 1. So, in the next chapter, which is supposed to be prior to this one, you know, like 27, 30 years prior to this one, it has to win. Because if it loses, well, it's not scary anymore. I mean, it's still scary in the rough sense of the word, that obviously it's dangerous to regular human, but every time he comes back, he's brought back by a group of kids. Another group of losers. Which it would only suck. It would suck. I really want the next season to make the last scene in Rogue One where Darth Vader is in this hallway pretty much mowing down every member of the rebellion. You know, I want to make that scene look childish in comparison. I want it to be like that. I want to feel like a real cool it, like a very powerful it, like a very powerful Pennywise. It doesn't have to be Pennywise per se. It can be an it, alright? It can be the classic giant spider, it can be the mutant baby, or whatever. It can be the werewolf, the giant statue, anything it wants. But it has to be awesome. Because if it doesn't work like that, what's gonna happen? I mean, just imagine that I could go behind Cthulhu's back with a wet towel and just whoosh, and Cthulhu goes like, ah, and it vanishes. You know? Think about it. Wouldn't it be silly that a cosmic entity that goes beyond our comprehension and it goes way above anything we can develop at the moment to stop it, I can just whoosh, you know, and it dies? Like, really? Are we gonna play with that stupid thing? So that's what I kinda fear. Look, again, for the third time, I really liked the show. I really loved the show. I really loved watching it. I really, 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 really loved the production level, the writing for the first 6 episodes, the acting, the soundtrack, everything was just pure bliss. It's just these last 2 episodes that kinda dropped the ball, where all logic just flew out the window. And look, again, I'm not shitting on it. I don't hate the show, and I'll say it the times that are needed to say. I really appreciate what they gave us, but I cannot stand on the sides and not be critical of something that I find dear. I really like cosmic horror, and even though Stephen King is not my favorite cosmic horror writer, I still appreciate all his work with horror in general. I like some of his novels. I really love The Mist, the novel, and the movie. I really love The Long Walk to Movie. I haven't read the book. Even though Cujo was... I had a saying when I read it. It was like 300 and something pages of the issues between the Trent marriage, but just like 50 pages of a rabid dog. But it was still a good read. I really liked it. And I loved Shawshank Redemption. But yeah, I really appreciate Stephen King's work. So I really liked that the cosmic horror was brought and done really well, because I think that in the movie and, well, in the audiovisual industry, it's not something that it's done properly. The closest we have is stuff like The Thing, which is obviously one of the greatest cosmic horror movies, or Point Horizon, I guess. I'm sorry if I forgot the name. I really am bad with that. But yeah, the movie about the ship that goes through hell and comes back like 10 years later. Like Dead Space, like obviously it's really good. I really like the movies with Skarsgård in it, and I really liked Welcome to Derry. I just want for them to actually still do this craft with love and caring, and not to try to pander to anything that it's not the cosmic horror genre. I wouldn't want to see them fall from grace, because I really love them. I really love what they did. I really like what they did right now. And I know that it sounded like I hated them the last 2 episodes. No, I didn't hate them. I just felt like they were quality level compared to the previous 6 episodes. This one's actually dropped the ball in the logic aspect. The logic department just went sabbatical here. But it's still a very good episode. Well, they're good episodes. I really like how the 7th episode started and how it ended. And it started with the black spot, and it ended with Will facing off against Pennywise in the last second. I really liked some of the scenes of the last episode. I really like the classic power of friendship of the losers to stop the big bad evil guy. I like the last scene where it's attempting to grab him, like he develops wings and tries to jump at them, but in the last second they make it. I really like it. I really like how all the characters ended up where it all ended up. I really find it extremely touching. Funeral for Richie. It was very emotional. The words that Marge said were extremely, extremely on point. It was all just so amazing. But again, the last two episodes can raise some concerns for the future if they're not addressed directly. So that's what I had to say about it. I went an hour long with this, and I apologize. I hope that I entertained you. And honestly, I went without script because usually you might notice it with my other videos. When I am reading and speaking at the same time, my English gets a bit weird. Uh, I don't want to sound like pedantic or anything, but I know that my English is not bad. A lot of people have praised it, and look, I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm the shit when speaking English, but no, it's my second language. Like literally, it's my second language. I mean, I'm almost as fluent in English as I am in my native language. But well, it's a bit hard to try to come up with bullet points and what to say. But I know it felt more fluent in my wording at least. But I hope that I didn't scatter a lot of my thoughts here. I know that in a couple of times I have to backtrack on what I said, so yeah, I really appreciate you guys' feedback on this. I mean, it's the first time I go without a script. I mean, I just had bullet points here in my laptop, and I was just like, oh yeah, the general, let's speak about the general. And I'm walking around the room and saying what I think, and that's why I go with different voices here and there. Because that's how I talk in real life. So yeah, I was reading bullet points and saying what I wanted to say, then come back and next bullet point, yeah, this, and that. A couple of them I just remembered on the fly that I forgot to add to the bullet points, like the Sauron dagger behaving like the Lord of the Rings. So yeah, and also when I speak on my own, I go into a lot of tangents, like you might have noticed. So yeah, please let me know what you guys think. I'm still gonna do more heavily scripted video essays because I really like to speak about things, but I want to do it like in a very ordered fashion. I mean, here I didn't have precisely an order. I just talked about like what I remembered and I thought. So I think it's really important to sometimes have a structure. Like if I'm doing a review, I need to have a structure. But yeah, in this like rapid thoughts, I can still do them. Let me know what you think. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Take care. This has been Dorgig speaking to you without a script. I hope you have a great day, and bye-bye.